Hello, fellow Tenno. My name is Ganny D, and I will be showing you my HARROW loadout. Now, with HARROW, he's such a complex warframe with a lot of different abilities, with stats that alter his overall performance, with all of his overall guns. It makes it a whole effort to make his entire loadout
Operator,
synergize with
did you hear
warframe.
that? It said cosmic background radiation is a riot.
Thank you, Ordis. I hope everyone enjoyed that joke. Uh, So first, we're just going to take a look at the appearance of everything, so that way we can get the fashion frame out of the way, and then we can get to the nitty-gritty numbers. So I like the whole dark priest appearance. I like the skeletal design of the deluxe skin. I like the attachments of the Tenocon 2019 shoulder blades as they don't interfere with the arm tape, because I really like that that's shown. Let's just go into appearance so he stops flailing around. I like the Garuda Prime, not, excuse me, Garuda Prime, ha, I wish. Now the Garuda Deluxe Skin Cyandana, I feel like it goes really well with this. It's a stark contrast, how it's skinny and bony, a lot like the inside of the metal skeleton that HARROW is. I like the Tenogen helmet here, because it has a long stick of gold. I really love gold on my warframes, and it has the whip little ponytails right there, as well as the blades on the side. I go for the Edo Prime chest plate so you can still see the heart beating, but you can have someone so it's not boring, and also have these two sides of his chest still flowing. You can still see them, they're not being poked into or clipped into. Tenokon shoulders I briefly mentioned. I like that they're off to the side, so they kind of elongate his shoulders. I don't usually put anything on his legs. They just clip through the little skirt here, and I really like this whole skin. It looks so good. And the Blazing Step Ephemera, I'll switch this out with Eidolon. It really just depends on what I'm feeling, but I really like the Blazing Step because I like to think, Priest of Fire and all that. Um, so that is the appearance of my HARROW, and then all the guns are pretty similar to that in appearance. They use the same color palette. I like the metal parts to be gold, but not too gold, so I like how it's red and like the gold barrel. And a Piranha Prime, I like the big gun. It like adds a little more like consistency to how hard the Piranha Prime punches. So here we have the nice red and black gun, and then the Reaper Prime, which looks awesome in that Necros Prime. Um, actually, no, I think it was the Necros Deluxe, but it's like the skin, the Thanatos side skin. It looks really, really good, and I have the little glassmaker attachment just to show how far I'm going. And then Zenuric because I'm basic and like energy, and there's pairs on to match. So here we're gonna go into HARROW's mod configuration. So this is my main, this is what I like to play. It's 6 Forma. Umbral Forma is one of them. I know it's a lot to ask, but we don't have a HARROW Prime yet, and I really, really like playing as HARROW. So we're going to start with our Aura mod of Corrosive Projection. It really helps kill enemies fast, which helps power up all of his abilities, especially the Thurible and the Penance. The more damage you do, the more healing you get out, the more kills you get, the more energy you get back. So it really helps. That's one of my favorite things about HARROW is how all of his abilities synergize with each other, and how like it all synergizes with his loadout, because Covenant really helps the loadout with his gun. If you have a gun with like pretty okay crit stat, if you consistently use Covenant, you'll be able to get a really good weapon, regardless of how subpar the crit chance on it is. So we start with Corrosive Projection. Honestly, any Aura mod with the line, I used to use that, but there's no need when you have Thurible. Speed holster, I don't really switch. I mean, I'm not really speed thing, so CP is usually the safest bet to go. Cunning Drift there. I'll get to that in a second. So I use Narrow-Minded to make sure the duration bit gets as high as possible within reason of the well-roundedness of the build. So I have the duration is nice and high, but the ability range suffers. So I run Cunning Drift and Stretch to be able to get that range to 94%, just under where it is at base stats. So that way I can have this big duration while still having the same semi kind of range. Then next to that we have redirection for shield capacity and umbral vitality for the health. The tanky bits, I don't have an armor mod. You can swap one of these out for vigor if you like, or you can replace something else on this build for vigor. If you want Harrow to be a little more tanky, I think he's fine as long as you use all these mods in tandem in a really nice spaced out way. You're going to be able to get that done. I already mentioned Stretch Prime Flow because, you know, the proportion amount of energy put in. He also doesn't have a lot of energy, only 425, whereas frames like Wisp and Volt can have 800. So it's really useful to have this mod. Prime Continuity I have on because I run Transient Fortitude. I know you're going to say, oh, Ganny, you just used Narrow-Minded and you want your duration to be high. Why do you use Transient Fortitude, not Blind Rage? Well, I'll tell you why. This number right here, the efficiency number, let me tell you, efficiency is unbelievably important to Harrow and how he plays. Now I know it's like, oh, it doesn't matter because you're making energy, true, but he plays so much smoother and he's so much more versatile when you're able to have regular efficiency versus a 45%. You get more energy per cast on Thurible, so you don't have to burn all of your energy to get a high energy per kill. You can do these abilities more often. You can run this. If you want to go full duration, then sure, run Blind Rage, but I like it as it makes a little bit more of a well-rounded and easier to synergize Harrow. Then we have Umbral Intensify and, you know, NTF for our strength mods, so we get a nice crisp 210 strength. And that's all the mods for my Harrow. I don't really run any other builds. The only other thing I would do, say, if I was running a solo, I would swap out Natural Talent for Stretch. Stretch for Natural Talent, just because if the range isn't really that important when I don't have a team and I just want to get things out faster, then I would go with that. But other than that, that is my main build. Oh, excuse me, I also have Arcane Energize and Arcane Aegis. Arcane Aegis is really, really good with Harrow when you just burn all your shields for penance and they start to regen and then an enemy hits you. You have a nice 3% chance for 30% shield recharge. So you get hit with, you get hit, ow, and then it'll help grow everything back so you can easily build back up for the next penance use or just for tankiness so that way you don't die. And then Arcane Energize, because, Arcane Energize is Arcane Energize. So here we're going to go into the weapon that I use primarily with Harrow. I typically use the Supra Vandal, and this is my build that I have with that. Prime Shred, just, so we can have that big number right there. With a critical chance, I run a full crit chance here. Oh, but Ganny, it's a status machine. No, trust me. You run critical with Harrow because you can get really good red crit numbers with this gun. You just keep getting like 2,000 damage, crit puncture damage at a high fire rate while the enemies are frozen thanks to your 1. With the 4 in effect, it's unreal how quick it clears a room. So this is my build for the Super Vandal. But after the Deadlock protocol, I have switched over to the Stalta. The Stalta is super good. It does as much, like almost as much DPS as the Super Vandal. It's easier to move. It lets me blow stuff up. It has a really cool alt fire. And this is what I have as my build. We have emphasis on slash and damage. We have the Prime Shred, which this could be swapped out for the typical fire rate mod. Speed trigger, which if you wanted like 5%, sometimes the punch through can be a little trippy because you'll shoot your alternate fire, it'll go through the enemy you were aiming at and blow up behind, so you have to be a little more conscious of where you're going to be aiming the alternate fire, so that way when it explodes it actually kills the targets intended and not either completely miss or kill targets you weren't aiming at. Then I run status for the Stalta. It does a lot of damage up front with its slash and puncture. It just shoots really well. And these two mods make it so that way we get a nice big status chance as well as a lot of viral, which is the best damage type in the game. And here we have rifle, ammo, munitions. One of the biggest faults of this gun that I've experienced by playing is that I run out of ammo if I don't have either a magazine extender or with a ammo pool extender, so I figure rifle ammunitions works better, and it does, because when I'm running around the level and enemies are dropping all kinds of ammo, I'm getting a piece of that, and it makes it so I never run out of ammo ever again. Now my Piranha Prime, Mr. Crit Gun. We have a nice 52.8% crit with 110 critical damage. I know there's a Prime Pistol Gambit. I'm going to get that the next time Barrow comes around. Actually, at the Barrow TennoCon 2020 Relay at the beginning of next month. It's currently June 24th, so we'll be getting that soon. We have Slash Enhancer, you know, the essentials. Auger Pack, give a little more, and Steady Hand, self-control the recoil. Now, when this, and then the reload speed, just, you know, quickly get damage out. This gun, with this build, with Harrow, with this build,
Excellent armaments,
with this
operator.
active.
Please return covered in blood. Safe and sound.
Thank you, Ordis. Don't you just love him? Covenant, with Covenant active as well as Penance, you are going to have an absolute hand cannon. You want to talk about pocket Mesa? Talk about a pocket squad of Mesas. That's what the Piranha Prime is like with this build of Harrow, with that mod build. And then my melee weapon is the Reaper Prime, due to its high crit chance that you can achieve at a nice 112. I have the Reaping Spiral, with my 3 primed mods here to make sure it's like a little bit more beefed, and we have the slash amplifier, so we get a nice big slash total damage there. Then we have our critical damage mods here, so we have a nice 150% critical damage at 6.3 times, with Sacrificial Steel giving us a 220% critical chance at a total of 112. So we're always going to get nice high orange numbers. Now, if for whatever reason you didn't want to run Gladiator Might and you were okay with this number not being that high, then I would recommend Berserker in this. A little bit lower of a critical multiplier, but a 30% attack speed on a 24-second for critical hit. When you have a guaranteed critical hit, you start flying with your hits. You get one hit off and your attack speed shoots up, especially with Prime Fury. It's pretty crazy when you're just swinging a horde or you're swinging on a really tanky opponent. You're just going to keep going off and gets faster, 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 and then they just get taken down super easy. But I prefer a little more of the critical, damage, so that way I can get some of these nice orange numbers. So that is my current Harrow build. Leave any comments, suggestions, questions in the comments below. I'm looking forward to everyone telling me how wrong my builds are. But thanks for watching. Have a good day, Tenno.